So imagine using the bathroom in a public place like Walmart, and upon exiting, being confronted and questioned about your gender. It happened to SETH Day, a transgender Montrealer. They felt discriminated against and have now filed a complaint against Walmart. Seth joins us now. Thank you for your time today, Seth.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us what happened. How did this go down?
Yeah, so I was just at my local Walmart shopping. I stopped to use the bathroom. I, did my business, washed my hands, and left. And when I exited, I was confronted by an employee who I later found out was in upper management. And they were basically demanding to know my sex and telling me I was making other people uncomfortable, which I don't even know how it's possible because I was in there for like 5 seconds. So he just kept demanding to know my sex. I told him I was non-binary. That wasn't good enough for him. He was like, no, what is your gender marker? What is your sex? And it was just like really uncomfortable. He made a really big scene in the produce department, so it was just really strange. And I asked him, because he kept saying I was making people uncomfortable, and I was like, well, I shop here all the time. What about my comfort? There's no gender neutral bathroom. There's no family bathroom, right? So like, where am I supposed to use the bathroom?
And what was the response to that?
I mean, he just kept asking for my sex basically and telling me. I did tell him that I was like, so what you're doing is illegal, right? Like, this is the laws that I can use whatever bathroom, I feel comfortable using, and not bothering anyone. I'm not doing anything. And he told me that I was wrong, that was not the law, which he was uninformed about. But it was a weird kind of hill to die on about it. But anyway, yeah, so I ended up going to the store manager after that. And he was nicer about it, but I didn't get the impression that anything was going to be done about it.
This the first time this has happened to you?
No, unfortunately. I mean, to be fair, in my, 7 years of social transitioning, it's maybe happened 2 or 3 times. There was one other time that it happened when I was in New York City, living in New York City in an airport, that I was refused access to a bathroom. Unfortunately, it's not, it's not totally uncommon. And I also have the luxury of being a person who generally passes as a man. So when I'm using the men's room, like, people, aren't too weird about it. But there are so many, I'm not doing this for me, I'm doing this for all the other trans people, who may, not everyone, even cis people don't always look like the bathroom they're going in, right? Like, people look all different kinds of ways. And so, I want everyone should feel comfortable, just going to the bathroom, right, in a public space.
I have a question, Seth, and I want to preface it by saying that I don't actually know that it matters, but I'm just wondering, in the bathroom, did anybody say anything to you? Did a customer react strangely to you? Was there any...
I mean, absolutely not. No. I went into the bathroom, and I think I saw maybe one person. They didn't even give me a weird look or anything. I don't know if maybe the employees saw me enter the bathroom and were waiting, but it seemed like they were waiting to kind of confront me when I came out. So okay. I'm not sure if the customer or someone saw me go in and then complained. But
again, it doesn't really matter. I was just curious, if something had precipitated this, and that's why that manager felt compelled to jump into action.
Yeah, it seemed really out of the blue, and it was just very strange that he, to me, if I wasn't sure about something, right, if I wasn't sure that was the rule or what the rules of my store was, I wouldn't be no, you can't,
Mm-hmm.
So it was really strange that he was very adamant that he was no, it's not illegal. I was you're discriminating against me right now, and he just kept saying he wasn't and asking my sex, which is a weird question.
That is a weird question.
At the end of all of this, in that confrontation, I'm guessing by that point, other people must have been watching or wondering what was going on. How did it end?
Yeah, so, I mean, eventually I just, I just kind of de-escalated a bit and left, and then talked to the manager, but he just kind of kept talking in circles and saying the same things. And what was the other unfortunate part was that there were other employees. I couldn't tell if they were in training or not, but there were other employees there, and no one, everyone just kind of stood there and watched.
No one said this is wrong.
No. In fact, one other employee defended, after I went to speak with the manager, yelled at me for talking to the manager and was he was in the right and you shouldn't be complaining about this.
That manager that you went to did apologize, but the original manager did not.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and you decided to file a complaint because you feel really nothing has been done about this, and it could easily happen again to you or to anyone in this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not I'm not complaining to just complain. If I was just mad and I wanted to complain, I'd go on Facebook and write a rant. I want Walmart to think about, if this person is in upper management and hasn't been trained on that, like that's scary to me, like then what about the people, like that's someone who's higher up in that job. And so like, for me, it's, I want there to be change. I want people to be trained in what the laws actually are. And, in terms of like, you can use whatever bathroom you feel comfortable using, as long as you're not just like anyone else, right? As long as you're not bothering anyone or doing anything weird in the bathroom, you can use the bathroom. And so I think it's more like, if there were trainings or, signage that says like, you can use the bathroom you want, like I just want, I don't want anyone else to have this experience is really why I'm doing this and making, people aware that it's an issue and it's still an issue.
Yeah. In general, what is accessibility like for you? Like how many, and Aaron asked if this has happened to you before, and it has, you said. I'm wondering in general, have we improved as a society in terms of accessibility?
I mean, I think it's hard to say. I think in some places, yes, like there are, bars or restaurants or places that don't even have gendered bathrooms. It's just like a room with a bunch of stalls and you just go. Or I'm thinking about places that just have single stall bathrooms. Like that's, not that big of a thing, but I don't think a lot of people are remaking their bathroom, like a lot of general places. Like I think a lot of queer spaces and spaces that, or even just spaces that are more aware of those things, are obviously more accessible. But in general, I would say I don't know that it's improved that much. Okay.
And so what happens next now, Seth? You filed a complaint. Any word from Walmart since?
So, I the other day when they did a TVZ news story about it, they got like a response from Walmart Canada that was general, like, "Oh, we're sorry, we're going to look into it again." I don't know how genuine that is. I hope it is, but I haven't heard anything like from the store. Generally, like since the news story came out, it's been like a lot of support. Also, some hate from folks, and I guess, I would. I'm sorry to hear that. It's going to happen. But the thing that I would like to share and say to maybe folks who are like, kind of rolling their eyes at this or, thinking, that trans people, shouldn't be going in, bathrooms, whatever. I would just challenge people to think about, what that would be like to just go to the bathroom and have someone, I say you can't. It's just a basic human right. And also, how does it change your life literally at all? If someone walks into a bathroom, even someone who you think, quote unquote, shouldn't be in the bathroom, right? They walk into the bathroom, they pee, they wash their hands, they leave. How does that affect you? It really doesn't. And so I think, in the end, it's just, we're people and we deserve basic human rights, like going to the bathroom without being harassed about it.
Absolutely. Please keep us posted, Seth, okay?
Absolutely, I will.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.